Doomsday 3.
We had Doomsday 1. He came from one of the toughest areas of Phoenix, also especially the force. Pray for safety and
on the defense, talk about it. You better get your ass to the ball. You better get to the ball.
I just gotta say, when it comes to Dallas,
Different.
For sure, and they would have thrown it off because this guy gets off you.
And then I go to bed every night like, G-Man, I promise you that we got a What is up, Cowboys Nation? Your boy Mike Tag here. We are live, special Thursday night. It's getting closer and closer to the draft, and I had to break out the old school time to get hyped shirt because I'm about to get hyped. My man Jay Tuck broke it out this morning, showing a little love to your boy Mike Tag. So I figured I'd dust it off. You know, Kelly, you've been a little down. We're going to build you up. We got 1 week left to get you on the hype train. And maybe our guest, which we're going to get into, maybe she's going to be able to help. Or maybe I've got my work cut out and I'm gonna have to try and hype up one other person. But how you doing today, Kelly? First of all, tornadoes in town.
Yeah,
that's the most important thing.
yeah, I'm doing all right, but you know, it feels like every week I got something that comes up with technical difficulties, whether it's this, you know, this hamster internet that I got, or it's the Wi-Fi router, or it's tornadoes, or you know, I don't know, man. Okay, but right now, man, my service around here is about as reliable as the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday. Oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take a trip to negative town already, but here we are. Nah, look, I'm excited. I'm excited because we get to announce our winner of the fan of the month. That's a cool thing that we've been having going. I really like that. It's good for people. We had I think 19 people entered this time, which it's down a little bit from last time. So I just want to tell people
the ones who won the previous month might be intimidating them.
It might be. There might be an intimidation factor. So I just want to encourage everybody that's tuning up in the chat tonight. Don't be discouraged if you've entered it once and you haven't won. If you entered it twice and you didn't win, or if you're a little nervous about coming on live. Listen, you don't have to do the whole show. You can come on for 5 minutes. You can come on for 10 minutes. But you're going to get a free cut from our sponsor, Cuts by Jones, which is great work. You guys have seen what he does. So don't be scared to get entered in here. And, you know, let's pump them numbers up right now. I think 19 contestants this time. That's rookie numbers. We got to pump them numbers up, you guys. We want you to join the show. And whoever wins this, actually, there's already been a winner. I did the random generator, and I got a screenshot of it if anybody thinks that I'm, you know, if I'm tricking the things up a little bit, but I got a screenshot of it. Did a random generator to pick that. So there is a winner already. But I will say this, this next one is going to be the live draft show. So you're going to get to come on, and we're going to have some former Dallas Cowboys come in, but possibly I think you had talked about Eugene Lockhart coming in.
He's locked and loaded. He's
locked and loaded. I had reached out to George Teague earlier and talked to him about possibly coming onto the show. So we're talking about having some former Dallas Cowboys that you'll get to chop it up with while you're on the show live with me and Mike. I mean, me and Mike should be enough, right? Mike, we should be enough. But just in case it's not, we got that little extra bonus for you. And when Eugene Lockhart stops by the cave, you never know what the hell is going to be happening. And since we're live streaming the draft, obviously I'm going to have a glass of an adult beverage. And then, you know, when I start to drink, then, you know, that's also a wild card. So you never know. It's going to be a fun time.
Especially if the pick doesn't go the way we want.
If number 12 goes crazy, if it goes sideways and we draft that, you know, that kicker from Harvard, you know, or something like that, you know, you might see one of those videos that you get on TikTok or YouTube where I'm busting a TV. I might end up going viral for something like that. You never know. Never know.
Absolutely. So do you want to announce the fan of the month? Get this.
Yeah, I will go ahead and announce it. It's Ronnie.
He's ready to roll.
The fan of the month was Ronnie Villegas.
Oh yes.
Ronnie, I will reach out to you. We'll get your information to Cuts, and he will send you out your cut. Get your address and get that sent out to you. But Ronnie Villegas is the winner of this month, Fan of the Month. And we are going to be doing our show live next Thursday. And Ronnie, you are invited to come on the show. You can stay for the entirety of the show. You can pop in for a few minutes if you want and pop out, pop back in. We're going to be we're going to live stream the draft. So we got the draft next Thursday. I know everybody's excited about that, seeing who the Dallas Cowboys are going to bring in as the next young talent to possibly, change this team's fortunes. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. And we're looking forward to having you on the show. I don't think I've ever met Ronnie face to face. I don't believe. If I have, you have to pardon me, but I don't think he's been at any of the Cowboys Cave tailgates.
He's been at the Cowboys Cave. The name's familiar, so I know we've interacted on Twitter, and I apologize.
I know we've interacted on Twitter for sure.
Once I see the face, I remember you.
Well, we'll get a chance to see him face to face as he joins us and gets into the Cowboys Cave and joins us and everybody else that's going to tune in for the draft. So that'll be a good time.
Well, we're going to get rolling, but I'd be remiss. Your boy lives in Florida. I'm all about the U, but just really thoughts and prayers to Florida State and that school and the tragedy. I'll never understand why this happens. I've got my daughters getting ready to go away to college. So, it's every parent's worst nightmare when you hear these things happen. So, hopefully this stuff goes away, but Florida State, they're a rival, but their family, and definitely prayers out to that university.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But we're going to get in. We're going to change up, get upbeat. I don't want to bring Spencer in on a down note, so we're going to let me hype her up and her show, Ew Sports. Ew. Some women don't like sports, but these two are phenomenal. They bring the hype. They are Dallas Cowboy fans, but also maybe some Denver Broncos. So I told you that Kelly might be doing the old NWO Hogan heel move on your boy Mike Tag at the Cowboys Cave tailgate party. Now he's bringing in some Bronco fans / Cowboy fans. He's got his girlfriend's at Broncos. I don't know what the hell's going to happen, but we're gonna bring her in and talk some Cowboys, find out about their show, and really, really excited to have Spencer on. Let's get you on right. How are you doing today?
I'm so good. How are you guys? And I just want to say, before I get crucified by your fans, is that I am a Cowboys fan first and foremost, okay? But I feel like a lot of people root for the hometown team, okay? I've got some friends on the team, the Broncos, so I have to show them a little love, care about them a little bit, but it's Cowboys first, I promise.
All right.
That's good to know, because we do have kind of a rowdy bunch that that might get a little riled up, and we don't need that.
No, I just wanted to let them know before they hurt me. I had to let them know what's up.
No friendly fire, fellas.
Everyone will be friendly to you. And Kelly said, "Hey, I found this great podcast. Two young ladies talking sports, entertaining, funny." Know their business, and I went back and I looked you up, and I watched your Football Explained 101. You guys broke everything down. You guys know what you're talking about.
That was so long ago. Thank you.
I saw them. I always like to see the very beginning, so that I went way back to the beginning and see how it transforms. And it's funny. You look at your own. I'm sure maybe you guys do the same every now and then. I'll go back to an old one and say, "Man, I sucked back then." Still probably not very good, but it's fun to see the evolution. So tell everybody about the show that you and Caitlin do, background, why you're, Cowboys fan and all that kind of good stuff. Give us your bio.
Oh, okay. Well, U Sports is Caitlin and I are the girliest girls ever, if you couldn't tell by the pink, and we love pink, glitter, all the things. And we honestly really wanted to make a show just making fun of all the stereotypes about girls not knowing sports, girls not liking sports. And we also had found out that I think there are a few NFL podcasts, but there's no all-female NBA podcasts, and we do a bit of both. And so I have been obsessed with sports. I grew up with two older brothers since I was little. My dad and I would always watch football together. He's from Alabama, so I was raised watching Alabama football. And I was born in Fort Worth. My parents lived in Texas for a while. And I had just always loved the Cowboys. I chose them as my team, being like born there. And I've always just like, that was like my dream when I was younger, to work for the Cowboys. And so I've followed them for literally ever. And so I moved to Denver, but I am moving to Dallas soon in about a month, which I'm super excited about because I've never been able to go see a Cowboys game.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So
Better make the first one the Cowboys Cave tailgate party, because it is the place to be.
I want to let everyone know also that I've been in Denver for 3 years. The first year I moved here, they won the NHL team won the national championship, and then the year after that, the NBA team won the championship. So I don't know. When I move to Dallas, am I bringing some good luck with me?
Okay.
I hope so. I'm hoping that it's, maybe the Cowboys will start to see like a little flip on that. But yeah, Caitlin and I go live it's not every, but we try to go live on Tuesdays and Fridays. Right now, we're kind of focused on the NBA playoffs, but as soon as these end, we are going to be full in talking about all the off seasons, everything that's been happening, and then training camp and all the fun NFL things. So I can't wait.
No, that's all. And
the one thing that like made my ears perk up was the championship thing. The first year and the second, like if we can get that kind of mojo in Dallas, then we may have to make like a special MVP trophy to pass out to you at the end of the season. Because right now, Cowboys fans are looking for anything, any sign and glimmer of hope that we can get, that this team can get number 6.
It seems like Cowboys and Mavericks fans could use any little bit of
absolutely
any bit of hope at this point. So if that takes me moving there, you know what? I'll do it.
There you go.
We accept it, and like I said, if that does happen, we will put a statue. We will take anything. I was at when Jimmy Johnson got put in the Ring of Honor. The curse was broken. This is going to put us over the top. Everything was great, and I don't know if we won another game that year after that. I don't know. Maybe we did.
Yeah.
We might have beat Seattle, but we just
didn't
look good.
Yeah, and I will say, if you've never been to, you said you'd never been to a Cowboys game. So every year, this will be the 3rd year now that the Cowboys Cave has hosted a tailgate. We host a tailgate. It's usually at the beginning of the year, one of the first games when the hype is still very high. We want to capitalize on that before things go off the track. You definitely got to get out to that. You would get a chance to meet a lot of Cowboys Nation that comes out there, not just from Dallas. They come from all around the United States. We got a guy that comes from Germany that comes out there. We got some fans from the UK that come.
Okay.
Like we last year was the best so far, but this year will be even better. We built off it every year. What did we win? The tailgate of the day. We had Rowdy out there. It was awesome. So
listen,
great
I'm all
atmosphere.
about a tailgate. I went to an SEC school. I'm all about a tailgate.
Oh yeah.
So what did you go to Bama?
No, the only 2 colleges I applied to were Bama and Kentucky. And my best friend, she's still my best friend, and she's actually one of the reasons she's in Dallas. So good for her. But she made me visit Kentucky, and I fell in love with it. Okay. But I still kind of root. Again, it's like the 2 teams thing. I kind of root for Alabama and Kentucky at the same time.
No.
I still don't like Alabama for what they did to my Canes, but that's for another subject, another show.
Hey, that's so funny because my parents are in Southwest Florida, and so it always cracks me. My dad kind of likes to root for the hometown teams, but we can't get away from the Bama roots.
No, I get it. I live in Tampa, so he's on my side. He's just probably a little further south. So
yeah. No, they're in Naples, so Naples, right down below.
That's the retiring spot, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But let's get into the Cowboys, and I will let you and Kelly kind of start, because I think there's a little down. So I want to ask you today. We're going to talk about today. Your thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys, what they've done in the offseason. I saw they made another signing, offensive lineman. So, I always say they're getting the guys in the position of need. But I don't think Kelly's satisfied with the talent they've accumulated in free agency. They've been more active, so it's made me feel better. But what is your thoughts, Spencer, on the Dallas Cowboys today? Forget the draft, because we're going to get into that. But right now, where are you at?
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about the draft because like that's what I'm like. Maybe this is our shining light of hope. I do appreciate that. I feel like they've made some moves. Last season, it felt like they were nickeling and diming everyone because like we all know that the Cowboys are cheap, and it felt like they were just signing all these like old vets last year on like random $1 million that weren't going to do anything for us and didn't do anything for us. So I like some. It seems like we got some depth. I mean, we've already got our superstars. Like my main thing is, we really just need like almost role players that can kind of bolster the defense is a mess, but the offense. So I like what they did. They actually got a Broncos running back, Javonte Williams, who is a really good like at the goal line finisher. Yeah. I mean, like the fact that we don't have any like RB1 is like really concerned. I mean, it feels like Swiss cheese where it's like literally there's just holes everywhere. But Javonte Williams is good for when you need those like 2-yard conversions, but he's not going to get down the field quickly. He's not breaking tackles. So I would be really concerned if like we go into the season and that's who we have as like our number one option. Would be a little concerning. And then I know we're waiting on the Micah Parsons. They've got to pay him out. So I like some of what they've done. I'm a little worried about like the linebacker situation. Don't really know what's happening there. It feels like at this point they're going to end up probably starting like at least 2 guys that have never started before. So I'm like, I'm worried at this point, worried to scared.
Did you and Kelly talk before the show? You guys getting up on me? What the
no, she just knows sports, Mike. She's knowledgeable, so she understands, sees the same things that I do.
Listen,
Kelly, do you have anything to add to that? I mean, is there anything?
She took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, I literally said last week. I was telling you when he was talking about running backs. I said I like Javonte Williams, short yardage goal line. Said the exact same thing. The linebackers is a worry of mine. The defense is a big worry of mine. I mean, everything she said is taking the words out of my mouth. I am not so much worried about the offense because I believe that going into this draft, I think the Cowboys are going to go and they're going to address 2 positions of need, which is wide receiver and running back. Yeah. I think that those might be the first 2 positions off the board, which I think will be much needed. I think they'll improve the offense. What I am scared about is the defense. I'm scared who's going to stop the run. I know the defense was in shambles last year. They had all kinds of injuries. They were 29th against the run last year, and I do not see the personnel having gotten better this year. So I've been out there. I've been saying it, Mike. I said it last week. I said it on Twitter. I kind of argued with a few people. I said I was talking with Terrence Parsons, Michael Parsons' brother. I said, I think that we're going to have the worst run defense in the league. I think it's going to be atrocious. I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't see the personnel of who's stopping the run on this team. Michael Parsons is only one man. Where are the rest of these dogs coming from? Because I don't see him. I know a lot of people are saying, well, Sam Williams. He's kind of an unproven guy, though. He hasn't shown up and shown that he can go for a full season and be an impact player. Marshawn Nealon, the same thing with him. He's not a guy who's shown that. I mean, he was a rookie last year, shown some flashes. Maurice Leofau, he's a linebacker that showed he played a little bit better down the stretch. But again, he's a guy that don't have a lot of snaps under his belt. He struggled a little bit. So I feel like right now this Cowboys roster is built on a lot of hopes and what ifs. And for me, that's just not enough for me to just say, you know what, that this is the team that can be a contender. And I just don't. I feel like if this team can't, I mean, for me, anything less than an NFC title game appearance for me is a failure. And honestly, I want a Super Bowl. I mean, I want the Super Bowl, right? But I'm just going to tell you, like, if this team this year was to make the NFC title game, I'm not going to say this season was a failure. I'd say that they exceeded expectations. But I don't think this team could even win a playoff game. I think this team I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs. So, I mean, that's where I'm sitting right now. I'm telling you, it's not, I don't see it, Mike.
No, get out of here with that shit.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
Listen to me. Listen, one second. I get what you're saying about run defense. Now, I'm a believer in scheme. And, Eberflus, his defense, I just think scheme can mask some things. Now, do I think they're going to be the 85 Bears, the 2 Buccaneers, the Ravens? No. But let me remind you, your second favorite team, the Washington Commanders, Kelly, run defense was worse than Dallas.
Watch your mouth, Mike.
Worse than Dallas last year, and they ended up in the championship game. So I'm not saying, they're not going to have this unbelievable run defense. Now, the best defense is a damn good offense. And we're going to get into the draft a little bit in a minute. But I think, do either one of you guys believe in the scheme that Eberflus? Do you think that could solve some of their problems, or we just don't have the talent? It doesn't matter what they do.
I'll let Spencer take that.
Oh, I was just going to say, you can scheme all you want, but if you don't have guys that can execute, then what are you going to do? My whole phrase last year was Cowboys can't run and we can't stop the run. We couldn't do either of those things, which was a nightmare. And I'm still bitter that we didn't get Derrick Henry because whatever Jerry Jones figured that we didn't need him. I don't know why he thought that. And then you have to watch him have a historic season somewhere else. So I honestly, I'm like a big defense girl. I love defenses. I love when you're constantly getting the ball back. I love when the offense has to work because your defense gets the other team out after two or three plays. Okay. So I don't know. I think in this draft, and I know you said we're about to talk about that or going to talk about it, is that we need at least 3 starters, which is a tall order.
Well, and you've been obviously watching my commentary because that's what I say. And we'll get into the draft, but I will say scheme matters. And you can go back to Bill Parcells, you can look at Wade Phillips, you can look at other guys in the defense who take teams that aren't so good and it's the same players, but the scheme changes things. Now time will tell. Time will obviously tell. I think the weakness in the Cowboys right now is defensive tackle, to Kelly's point. They're going back with their same group. But I think what he's going to do with the linebackers and what he's done with the linebackers and what he's done with the line, I think there's opportunity for the Cowboys to get better. Cornerback is another concern. So I agree with you guys. I don't think the defense is going to be all world, but I think there's some areas that they might be able to improve.
Now, Mike, I'll say this. There's been times I do agree about, the scheme. I'm not saying I totally disagree with that. But I think ultimately, though, when you play the teams that you will play in the playoffs, they'll expose those weaknesses, though, because, we've seen Dallas Cowboys teams that have overcome some of their weaknesses when we had, going back to 2016 when Dak was a rookie. And we had one of the worst pass defenses in the league. We had one of the best run-stopping defense, one of the worst pass defense. We played Green Bay, and what did Aaron Rodgers and that Green Bay team do? They sliced and diced that secondary up, and they did it. They exposed our weaknesses because they knew that ultimately, yes, scheme can do so much, but if you don't have the personnel, they're the elite teams, the better teams, they're going to expose that. They're going to expose those weaknesses, just like the year before when we were talking about the fact that this defense looked like they were a really good defense. That year we got our heads stomped in by Green Bay. But what happened every time we played one of the better teams? They were hanging 30 points on us every single game because they were exposing those weaknesses, going after those weaknesses. And then we got to sit there and watch that damn Green Bay game. And we all know how that played.
We don't want to talk about that game.
I'm just saying, I think Eberflus, I think he's got the potential to elevate some of these groups. I know he works really good with linebackers, and people have talked about his work with linebackers in the past. So, I'm hoping that he can work miracles with them, but I'm just looking for the guys on that defense that I'm just like, okay, I know I can depend on this guy. You even with the Trayvon Diggs, you got Trayvon Diggs coming back. He's coming back from another major knee surgery. We don't know that we're going to get the Trayvon Diggs that we're used to seeing. And this is his other leg, right? So now he's got 2 legs that he's had major surgeries on. We've got, people keep talking about Overshown, that they think he might be able to get back, sooner than what we thought. But again, that's another major injury. Even Dak Prescott. That injury, they talked about the severity of that injury. You know how tricky hamstrings are. I don't know how old you are, Spencer, but I remember Miles Austin and the hamstring injury. Remember, he went from being, nothing to something, and then all of a sudden the hamstring injuries just took him out. And before you knew it, he wasn't even in the league anymore because those things plagued him. So that's another worry of mine. Is this hamstring injury, is that going to be something that lingers with Dak Prescott and something that pops up again in the season? There's just a lot of variables that are going against the Cowboys. New coaching staff, unproven players. Just a lot of things that are just looking at me dead in the face saying it's going to be a tall task for this team to be competitive this year.
Yeah. No. I mean, I can't argue. But there's a way to fix it, right, Spencer? And you said it. We got to get some playmakers on this team, and we've got to get some starters on this team. So I did, Kelly's good with his research. So I said, you know what? I got to up my game. So I said, you know what? I got to do a little research myself. So the two positions we talk about, running back, receiver. Right? I think all of us agree. Everyone in the chat, you guys agree. This is the medicine that this offense needs is another receiver and a running back. So I looked at the Cowboys' history because I'm like, they haven't really, in my mind, I'm like, man, I don't think they've drafted a lot of receivers in the first round, but the ones I remember have always been impact. So the last receivers they drafted, CeeDee Lamb, good, right? Des Bryant, Alvin Harper, great number 2 with Michael Irvin, won 2 Super Bowl championships with him. Obviously, Michael Irvin, the playmaker. And probably the one that didn't live up to the hype in Dallas, but ended up with a very good career because of injuries. He was a guest on our show, Mike Sherrard, in 87. That's it, 5. So I would say definitely hit 4 out of 5. The 5th one had a really good career with the Giants and 49ers, but just didn't get it done in Dallas with the injuries. So that makes me feel good. Then I go to the running backs. I'm like, well, let's see what they do with the running backs in history. A little mixed bag, but a majority of good. You had Zeke, Felix Jones, which was okay. Obviously, Emmitt Smith, can't say much more than that. Tony Dorsett. And then they had a couple duds with Young, Bill Thomas. But then they get Dwayne Thomas for all the older crew that remember the Cowboys way back when. Phenomenal running back, one of the top running backs in the history of the team. And then Calvin Hill, another top running back. So the Cowboys historically have not missed on the 2 most important positions I think we're talking about here. So what do you guys think about some playmakers? Spencer, who is on your list if you're going with that 12th pick? And what do you want? What's going to get you hyped up and back on the hype train?
So I have Rick. I agree with Rick. We need a wide receiver first, either a cornerback or a defensive end 2nd round, and then a running back 3rd round is what I think is best. And then this draft is like the weirdest draft. I don't know if y'all have noticed, because like the top 1 through 5 are like the real like elite. And then after it's like picks 9 through whatever can like all be interchangeable. So I know that they talked about trading down or whatnot. I know they've got Matthew Golden for us right now on everything. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I feel about him so much. I really like Emeka Egbuka. I hope I didn't just ruin his name. Yeah. And I'm not even going to try and pronounce McMillan's first name. Those are my 2 guys that I really
just say T-Mac.
Those are the 2 guys that I really like. I don't think they're like number 12 picks, which is why I honestly think they should trade down if they can. Because if you can get one of those guys at like pick 16, 17, and you're getting the guy you wanted anyway, but you also pick up, another 2nd round pick, 3rd round pick, which, Cowboys need all the top 100 picks I think that they can get. I think that's the smart plan. I think the issue is finding people that want to trade to go up in the draft, because all of these players are just like interchangeable almost. But I think McMillan's McMillan and Egbuka are like one of the best fits. I think Egbuka, like, he blocks, he's unselfish, great route runner. He can play slot. And he can catch in clutch situations. I really like him. They're talking about McMillan slipping a bit because originally they had him projected, I think, to go like top 10. They're thinking he could slip to like, they're thinking he could slip to the 20. And I would like McMillan. He's like 6'5" and 220 pounds, which is great. I just think is a really good playmaker. I think he's explosive. I think he's like the perfect X receiver that they could put next to Lamb. But I think it's just going to be a weird situation with how we go with whether we trade down or whatever's the plan. Yeah.
And I would just say, and get Kelly's opinion, Egbuka to me is T-Mac has the highest ceiling. I mean, he could be, the highest. I think Egbuka is the safest. And what I love about him, to all you think blocking, I mean, great route running, catches everything, and he's competed at the high level of competition at Ohio State. He's won a championship.
Yes.
He had to battle for his spot. He had to battle in practice every week and every day against the best talent, in the country in recruitment. And it pains me to say that about Ohio State. You understand what I'm saying? Because I hate Ohio State.
I do too.
But I think that's it. Golden, don't sleep on. I think he's one of those game breakers that could be one of those guys that could be a nice pair with CD. But I think you're right. I think they're going receiver one. Kelly, what is your thoughts on one? Are you in the same page with us, or do you see him maybe going another way? Don't say offensive lineman, because
You already know I'm not going to say offensive lineman, man. No, I'm in agreement. I would say probably the same thing as far as I think wide receiver has to be the pick in round one, and I think it could be. When I ranked them the other day, I had it McMillan, Ibuka, and then Golden, and then Luther Burden as far as those top 4 wide receivers. That's the way I saw them. And I know that there's some people I saw ultras in here banging the table for Golden and saying about Ted McMillan can't get separation. Listen, Ted McMillan got 1,400 yards or something this year, something crazy like that. You don't do that by not getting separation. Listen, I don't care about the whole separation thing, because if you watch the film on McMillan, the dude catches everything. I mean, honestly, he reminds me a little bit, kind of to me, almost same build as a Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, it catches everything in the radius. He's a guy who would be a great red zone threat. So, I miss when we used to have Dez and you could just throw it up in the corner of the end zone and you knew he's coming down with it. McMillan's that type of receiver. Golden's got elite speed, so that 4.2 speed obviously is going to be something about, that's going to be something intriguing for the Cowboys, obviously, because, anytime you look at that kind of speed, it's going to be intriguing for them. I do think that they could wait till the 3rd round to draft a running back just because of how deep this running back class is. And I do think that, defensive back needs to be something that's a concern for them because of the fact that they've had multiple injuries now to Diggs. And you don't really know how a guy's going to come back from that. A guy that's, reliant on his speed and reliant on using those, the lower body basically to make those moves and to keep up with these wide receivers. So I would say probably DB as well. I wouldn't be completely shocked if there was a good defensive tackle on the board, though, and they went that way too, because they still need some big guys up front to stop the run. But yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely going to be in the top 3 rounds. They're taking a wide receiver and a running back. If they do not go if they go wide receiver and they don't go running back out the first 3 rounds, I'm going to lose my damn mind, because I remember last year watching it. We didn't have a 4th round pick. They go 1, 2, 3, no running back, no running back, no running back. And I'm going, what the hell are you guys doing? And then, we all know also the free agents that were out there, obviously the Derrick Henry and, all the other guys that got signed out there that, we just sat there on our thumbs and we're like, yeah, we're going to roll out Rico Dowdle this year and he's going to be our number 1. We're going to have Ezekiel Elliott as backup. We saw how well that worked out for the Cowboys. So they need playmakers. Wide receiver and running back are their 2 biggest needs on offense.
We need playmakers. I want to address some in the chat. I love the chat. Chat's a little crazy sometimes, a little wild. At least it being respectful to Spencer. That was my biggest concern, because we got a lot of questionable characters sometimes. We love them, but sometimes we just don't know. But I would say
so
this.
Do we.
the thing I would say, and I think it might have been Ultra talking about 40 times, I could care less about what a guy runs in a t-shirt, short,
100%.
track shoes. My man Restrepo is getting, people talk, he ran a 4.8. He's, Anyone who watched Miami knows the dude's a baller, catches everything. I saw him break away. I saw him break tackles. I saw him always open. I could care less. Larry Fitzgerald ran a 4.7 change. Yeah. Pretty good career. Michael Irvin was a 4.5 change guy. Emmitt Smith, you could go down the list of guys, and I could give you all the guys, the John Jetts, the Alexander Wrights, all the first-round picks that ran 4.2s, these receivers, and everyone fell in love with them, and they didn't even make it in the NFL, did nothing. So I look at game tape. I look at what they do against competition more than what they're running in shorts, because there's speed and there's football speed. And there's a big difference when you got pads on, you got someone chasing you,
That's why I don't care about Golden's 40 time that much. I'm like, is it really that special?
Yeah, but he was good. I'm not gonna hate on him.
It's great.
He's good.
But
He's
I'm
a good
like,
football player.
Yeah, he's great. I liked what you said because I think Egbuka, he doesn't leave questions. So he is the safest. And I really, honestly, like I have like 3 Ohio State guys on like my little board that I would love for them to get just because how you were saying, they have the championship experience and we need that. Like I love guys that hate losing, that are competitive, that had to fight for their spot at a big school where it's not guaranteed that they're starting. So that's why I love that he has that experience that could come in and be a starter.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. So let me ask both of you, running back, I don't know if it'll happen, but if Genty falls, if Hampton is a guy they have on their radar that you're going to give up, like you'd have to really be high on Hampton because he's not going to be there in the second. And it's going to be tricky because like you made a good point, Spencer, earlier, the draft is going to be a little tricky because you have quarterbacks that always get over-evaluated. So now you've got, Dart has kind of been climbing up the charts. Could he go to New Orleans, in the top 10? I saw some mock drafts with that. So you're seeing some of these quarterbacks could be moving up. Now you're seeing 3 possible running backs that could end up going into the first round. They're talking about the Ohio State kid coming up a little bit higher in the ranks. So if the Cowboys, if Genty was there, is it too good to pass up? And running back is deep. I think running back is deep. Yeah. It's probably been in the history that I can remember. But is it just going to be too tempting for them to pass up? Spencer,
I'll let Spencer take that one first.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I agree with you that I think it's so deep and I just feel like there's so many other holes that need fixing. And I feel like if you take Genty, then the like top 4 receivers that are kind of like promised to be starters, they're going to be gone. So you're screwed in the next round. And then you're backtracking. And especially with, we need either a cornerback or a defensive end. So I don't know. Personally, maybe I'm like wrong for saying that I might not. But I don't know. What do y'all think?
Well, I know I got killed the other day because I said I wouldn't take him. I was like,
yeah.
Hey, well,
I'm like, I don't want to say it definitely.
Look, I'm not. Yeah, and I'm not saying that I would be angry if they took him. Like, I'm not going to be pissed off and be like, oh, one of them deals. But at the same time, like, I mean, I don't know. People keep talking about Genty and they're like, oh, he's this can't miss prospect and he's a game changer. He's this and he's that. I mean, but. How many times do we hear that about players before they ever played a snap in the NFL? Like, there is no given that he's going to come into the NFL and kill it. I mean, I remember when that Reggie Bush was the next Gale Sayers. I mean, and that, he was taken in number 2, I think, overall. Yeah. And I mean, he didn't live up to the hype at all. Like, there's always going to be players that are not going to live up to the hype. Do I think Ashton Jennings is going to be a good running back? Yes. But do I think he's going to be a guy that if he's there at 12 and the Cowboys did not take him because one of their wide receivers was on the board and they went wide receiver over running back, do I think that in 5-6 years the Cowboys are looking back like, damn, how did we miss on that? Do I think he's going to have like a Derrick Henry level impact? Do I think he's going to have an Adrian Peterson level impact? I don't. And that's my opinion. I don't believe that. I think that this running back class is so deep that I think what you can do is I think that you could go out. I know we got Miles Sanders. I know we got Javonte Williams, but I think you could go out in this running back class, and I think you could probably double dip. I think you could grab a guy in the 3rd, and then maybe even grab another guy towards the 5th. Obviously, I want him to go after my boy Taj Brooks. If Taj Brooks is on the board from Texas Tech, that's my guy. I want them to go out and get him. But I think you could double dip here and grab like 2 running backs. You know what I mean? And still be good enough in the run game and still be impactful in the run game. Whereas, to echo kind of what Spencer said, if you don't grab that wide receiver, I feel like that's a bigger need for this team right now. And I feel like that if you don't get that in the first round, then I feel like there's a big drop off between those first 4 guys towards that next tier level of guys. And I mean, we kind of saw how the Cowboys have done with that. I mean, we're sitting there still looking for our 3rd round pick. And what's your boy's name? I'm blanking right now. That is on the team right now, and Ultra doesn't like him. Called him booty all the time. Tolbert, Jalen Tolbert. We drafted. He was a 3rd round pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're still waiting on him to actually come through and do something, and he just really hasn't, right? So I think that you got to do something there, and I think you got to go wide receiver in the 1st round. So if Jinty's on the board and McMillan was on the board, and if Buka was on the board, and they had to go, I'm going to go with one of those wide receivers.
Yeah. No, I think I would say I disagree with you just a hair. I think running back's a bigger need. But I think running back is deeper in this draft, and I think you don't want to, because I'm a Martinez fan from Miami. Of course, I'll be biased, but he's played 3 seasons in college football, and he's never averaged less than 6.1 yards a carry, and he's at 1,000 yards every time. And he's not. He doesn't have a lot of tread on his tire because Miami did a split back, and he was at Oregon State split back. He didn't get a ton of carries, but his yards per carry is huge. He's a big 6'1", 220. He's physical, but he's got some speed. And then, like you said, you match him up with God, I'm having a brain freeze, but the kid from the Dallas area, SMU, who was a Miami Hurricane receiver. They turned running back. See, I am biased about everything, but that kid's phenomenal speed. You pair him up with that, or Taj Brooks, or one of these other guys. You can say you could double dip the running back so deep that you've got something to work with. And then now you've got 4 running backs in the room. I'm not going to count Deuce Vaughn. Maybe that era is over. And then you figure out which one you keep between Williams and Sanders. I'd probably keep Williams, but they could figure it out. But what about cornerback? Let me throw a curveball to you. We talked about Diggs, uncertainty. If the top cornerback falls, if something like that happens, would you pivot to a cornerback over a receiver, Spencer?
Well, my hopes and dreams, I wish we could get Travis Hunter because then we have a cornerback and receiver. I was actually listening to a show the other day, and they were like, what would you do if Cleveland came and said that they wanted Micah Parsons, but they would give you the number 2? And I was like, I can't even answer that because I love Micah Parsons, but
I was going to say.
No. I'm like a big Micah Parsons lover, but I don't know. I want Jahdae Barron, and so I don't know where he's going to end up because I've seen some mock drafts that have put us drafting him first, which I don't think is going to happen. So I'm praying that maybe he falls enough that we could get him in the 2nd round. I don't know if that's.
I don't know if that'll happen.
I don't think it'll
get over.
I don't think it would happen, but I would rather. I don't know. I think I would still have to stick with one of those like top 4 receivers because I think in the 2nd round, you can get like a good defensive end if you don't have the cornerback left that you like or you're working with. I think that we have 2 options that we need to fill, and so you kind of can lean one way or the other to get another guy. So I think I would still stick with receiver.
Yeah.
So we don't believe in Mingo. Let me just throw that in there because Mingo is the guy they traded for. He was a 2nd round pick. He was from the SEC, your country, Ole Miss, and I mean he was I think he was the 4th, maybe someone help me out, 3rd, 4th, or 5th receiver taken in that draft. Obviously, he got stuck with Cooper Rush. Not so fair. He's going to have a full off season. Are you guys kind of dismissing him, Kelly? Is there, not enough faith in that one? You got to, what do you do?
That was no hesitation on Spencer's part. Yes.
I don't think about him at all.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you've seen nothing from him to depend on him. So at this point, until he shows something otherwise, then I mean, you can't count on him. You can't say, because again, like I said, I already feel that this roster is already full of too many what ifs. You can't add another one with Mingo and be like, well, we got Mingo in here. You know what I mean? Which is almost kind of a Jerry Jones-esque type thing that I could see him trying to talk himself into is, we got this Jonathan Mingo guy that, is we don't want Jonathan Mingo. We want a wide, so I don't know though. Maybe he could emerge as a good number 3. You know what I mean? Right now we're looking at a number 2. We're looking for the Robin to CeeDee Lamb's Batman, but Mingo is not going to be that guy, and I don't think Tolbert's going to be that guy. I don't think anybody within the Cowboys organization believes that. So, yeah, if DB was the pick in the first round, though, I'm team wide receiver in the first round. I really want that wide receiver in the first round.
When you and I talked, we went through the offense, and I think we all agreed same or better. We went through each section. Defense, you were really hammering them. Cornerback was one of the big ones.
I did. I hammered them, but so I still think they still have money to spend, though, and there's still guys out there. There's that second wave of free agency. These may not be your guys that are going to be, that are going to blow your socks off, but these could still be guys that they can grab that could still make an impact on this roster and could still be players that make a difference, right? Make this team better. And so I think that the Cowboys can utilize that second wave of free agency to maybe get some of these guys. So that's why I wouldn't hamstring, because again, like I said, if I'm looking at, I just wholeheartedly believe that outside of the first round drafting a wide receiver, I think that a lot of the times it takes those guys a little bit longer to develop. And I feel like that if we do that guy's probably more on the level of a number 3 wide receiver. And then you've got a CeeDee Lamb, and you've got three number 3s with Tolbert, Mingo, and whoever that rookie is. And I don't think that's fair to Dak Prescott. I think he needs more weapons, to throw the ball to. I mean, obviously, Schottenheimer's talking about being a run offense first, which I'm all for. But if you got nobody to throw the ball to, we saw how well that worked out not too long ago when Jerry decided that we didn't need a number 1 wide receiver. After Dez left the team, he's like, we're good. I feel like we don't need a number 1. And you found out we needed a number 1 and you need a number 2, because then he went out and got Amari Cooper. And we know how that goes. You need wide receivers in this league, and teams have shown that. So, right now I saw something the other day, I think it might've been 2 days ago, that pissed me off on Twitter. And it was showing, it says, the best number 2 wide. What about this list, would make you angry or whatever? And I was like, the fact that the Cowboys don't have a dude on that list. We don't have a number 2 wide receiver right now. It was showing, Devontae Smith was on there, Addison on there for the Vikings, like all these dudes that are out there that are like, great number 2 wide receivers, T. Higgins. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I just wish the Cowboys had one. You know what I mean? A 1-2 punch for Dak Prescott. It's only fair to give the guy weapons.
They're going to get.
Yeah. I don't like banking on young guys to like make some major leap. I just think that's, and we've been dealing with it on the NBA side with my friend and I with the Nuggets. It's like, as a GM, just being like, you know what, we can sit here because this guy should be really good. You don't know that. You don't know if he's going to be ready just because, when they're showing mistakes and they're young, but you see the potential, that's great. But you can't just assume that the next year that they will, become this amazing, amazing receiver. I don't think that's a good thing to just pray and hope that Mingo or Tolbert are gonna like all of a sudden become some amazing number 2 receivers. Like it's just not smart to me. It's a gamble, and I don't like to gamble like that.
No, I get
Agreed.
it. And before I forget, I'm terrible at this stuff, but you got 260 plus of you guys hanging out in the cave. We appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit the subscribe. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you check out Spencer and Caitlin's show, by the way, EW Sports. You can go over to EWW Sports. Check them out as well and hit that subscribe to them. They do some great content. But one more curveball, and we'll throw you on offense in the first round. The tight end Warren from Penn State. Playmaker. We want playmakers. Now, it may not be at the wide receiver position, but if by chance he were to fall to them at 12, is it too tempting to pass up this guy because he's a playmaker? What do you think, Spencer?
I don't think he's falling, so I don't know how.
No,
to
I don't think
this
he
question.
is either. But there's some that the trick is quarterback. Just watch the draft.
Yeah.
If you see Jackson Dart go up, and as crazy as it sounds, Milroe is at the draft. He was invited. And he's going to be there.
Yeah.
Very odd that a guy that some think was a 3rd round pick, maybe 2nd round, is at the draft. quarterbacks get tricky and they can change the draft because teams overvalue them and they get desperate. And if they start doing it, you're going to see some guys drop. And if he were, it's hypothetical, would you take him over the other ones we mentioned? Because he's a true playmaker. There's no doubt about it.
That's a tough one. I don't know because he's so good, and I've been seeing a lot on him lately. But I kind of have like written him off in my mind because I knew that he was gonna go. He was not gonna fall to us.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I want to say I would still stick with a receiver, unfortunately, just because I'm really high up on you can't have like one superstar because if that guy's locked down and you have no one else to throw to, then you're screwed. So I'm really praying for a good, like y'all said, a Robin to CeeDee Lamb's Batman. And that's what I'm most focused on in this draft over getting a tight end like him.
Okay. Because I'm worried about Ferguson. I spent time down in Miami, the Cavender girls. He's getting distracted. Gotta get him focused.
He's good, but he's not as great as I want him to be.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know. I think I need that number 2 real bad.
No, I would agree. What do you say,
I for a split second, I thought you had got her on the curveball. I thought she was going to say yes for Tyler Warren because I've seen that on Twitter and I've said no. I'd pass him. I'd pass up on him. I know he's an upgrade over Ferguson, but I don't think right now that you're going to sit there and you look at tight end and say that is a need for this team because I think that Schoonmaker last year did a pretty good job. He had 4 touchdowns. Obviously Jake Ferguson disappointing with 0 touchdowns, more fumbles than touchdowns. So we're looking for a bounce back year from Ferguson. He's got all the talent that it takes to be a really good tight end. I mean, going into last year, I was thinking he's going to take that leap. I said at the beginning of the year, I thought he was going to be a top 5 tight end before the end of the year. I was totally wrong. But then again, he's playing with Cooper Rush versus a Dak Prescott, which, that's probably some of the reason why Schoonmaker, obviously he's that number 2 guy. He's probably got more reps with Cooper Rush, more familiar with Cooper Rush. But still, I don't think tight end is a need. I think wide receiver is a need. And I feel like that the Dallas Cowboys need to address those needs now, especially while you got a 12th pick, because you don't know where you'll be picking next year. If the Cowboys go out with Dak Prescott, let's say they win, 9-10 games, then you're back towards the middle of the draft where, not to say that you can't still get a good playmaker, but it feels like at this point, at number 12, it feels like you should be able to get a pretty damn good player to add to the roster. Yeah. I think that's what's exciting for me about this draft is the fact that we are picking up at number 12. And last time we were picking at number 12, we drafted a pretty good player in Michael Parsons. So
yeah. And breaking news for me, I guess I've been out of the loop, but I guess Ferg he got engaged to her. They got engaged.
Well, then he's settling down. No more distractions.
Now I feel better.
Yeah, I was about to say, hey, that's a good sign.
Yeah,
maybe
that's a great sign. Maturing.
Exactly. Yes. No more distractions. Let's go.
I can tell you, I grew up in South Florida. That could be a very distracting place. A lot of trouble down there. You can find yourself in a lot of trouble. So you got to be very careful.
I went to a private Baptist school. I wouldn't know anything about that.
But we talk about playmakers, and I mean, I have preached it, and this is the turning point. To 2 negative ones I got here, the 2 doubters, the 2 that don't think the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs. You're betting the under on Vegas. I think, to your point, give me 3 playmakers. Give me 3 playmakers. In this draft, what I would say is I agree 100% with what you said, Spencer. It's not so deep top heavy, but there's a lot of solid. And you can go into 4th round, and there's a lot of guys that can be impact players from day one. The Cowboys, where they're drafting 12, they've got obviously 12th in each round. They've got an opportunity to get some playmakers. So I think they're going to get 3 guys in the 1st round, and I think it's going to be running back. I think it's going to be receiver, and then I think it's going to be cornerback because I think that's the most important need early because cornerback's harder to get later in the draft, and then hopefully they'll fill up some others. But if they do that, if they get the receiver you want, Spencer, if they get the running back you want, they get the cornerback you want, you got to be feeling good about this team going into training camp. Does that change? Could that change the whole feel of how you are about this team, or do you got to still see more?
Mike is trying to be the ultimate salesman right now. Mike, I see you, Mike. You're selling.
The thing is I can't say yes because I haven't seen them play a snap of NFL football. So while I think that, I've watched them be amazing, I also, after watching the NBA, watched March Madness and watched how awful everyone is at the college level and realizing how many people really get to play in college that should not be playing professionally. So I can be excited and I can have hopes and dreams, but I'll need to see like the first, and I can't even say the first game because that's how watching the Broncos with Bo Nix, I was like, oh, this guy I don't know what's happening. But you have to let them, dip their toe, in the NFL waters. So I feel like it's going to take me to like game, 4 or 5 to see if they can adjust to the speed. Because, every guy's talked about that. Derrick Henry has said it before that he feels like there's only a couple schools that really prepare you for the NFL. And, like obviously Alabama's one of them, probably Ohio State at this point, which is why I'd like to take some of these Ohio State guys off the board. As much as I hate Ohio State, at least I would have more confidence in them coming in and being able to start and not, dropping the ball. Hypothetically or literally.
I'm with you. I love big school and competition. What do you think, Kelly? You're not in.
This exact same things that she's been saying. You could literally put that on a loop. That's what I've been saying, Mike. I don't really know how to improve off of that. I'm saying that I think you already know I'm gonna be excited. I'm gonna be excited. I'm always excited about Cowboys when it's Cowboys football.
I'm excited about football, but
I'm gonna be jacked up and I'm gonna be excited. But listen, last year what happened was, the Cowboys were soul suckers of life. Like you saw them videos I was making. I don't know if you know Spencer. He makes hype videos before the games, and then I make reaction videos after the games. And I go on like these profanity laced, just like if we win, I'm over the top, crazy, yelling, cussing, and then if they lose, I'm the same way. I'm cussing, but last year, by the end I'd say about halfway through the season, they took everything out of me. I literally, every one of my videos start with just like a big sigh. It's just like, well, Cal, like it's the same every week because they just suck the life right out of me.
Oh,
so
you should
I agree.
See some of our podcasts from last year. It's literally Caitlin going, "Do you want to talk about it?" And me and my eye just starts twitching, and I just and then my eyes get a little water-y. So I fully understand.
See, so Mike, if I'll be positive, Mike. I'm not technically believing just yet.
Injuries played a part last year.
They did.
They were doomed from the start with the coaching, that debacle with not extending or moving on. And then they did the whole Derrick Henry situation and, how that played out. They did nothing. It was a problem from the get-go. What I would say on this team, and I know Kelly disagrees, I didn't need superstars. I don't need I needed them to get guys that could fit the system. And I got to trust the coaches, got the guys to fit in their system. And I needed blue collar guys that just want to play football. They're not worried about the glam. They're not worried about, all the stuff that comes with being a Dallas Cowboy. Now, if that changes them, I don't know, but I'm hopeful they addressed every position that I said was important. They addressed it, and I guess they did address running back, but whatever. I think the draft is going to make the big difference there. But they addressed every position that I asked for. So I've got to be optimistic that they did their due diligence and they got guys that fit their scheme, their system, their philosophy. But I said the draft is about playmakers. This team is starving for playmakers. You got CeeDee Lamb, and you have zero outside of him as far as anything that puts fear in anyone's eyes. This team needs excitement on offense. And I said, if they get a running back and receiver And then obviously, I think defense. We talked about Kelly. We gotta work that middle. You gotta tighten up the middle from defensive tackle,
get that defensive tackle.
linebacker, and cornerback. I mean, it starts all the way up the gut. I'm going to be excited. So I'm reserving the hype because I believe they're gonna do it in the draft. But we'll see what happens. But I'm more optimistic of this team. Now the schedule's tough.
Yeah.
And we're going to be going to Denver. I was going to say, Spencer, we're going to be like Kelly and I might be heading out to Denver as a road trip.
Oh,
You're not going to be there, so now we might have to.
No, I absolutely listen. I'm gonna be here. Listen, I told you I've got my my little wags. I get to be in the box. So I was like, I'm definitely going to be back here. Yeah,
right.
I'm not missing out on that.
Right.
And we haven't beaten the Broncos since 1992.
A long ass time.
As that sounds. It's impossible. It's the most craziest thing ever. But that's my thoughts on the team.
We didn't even play last year, which is so good for someone that likes both, because I would rather them never play each other ever.
So who do you root for when they play? Because I'm not one of those, and that can be both teams. Like I live in Tampa, and I've lived in Tampa now for 30 years. And people are like, "Oh man, you got at least you root for the Bucs." I don't root for them to win a game because I don't want to hear no one's mouth. I hate it. And it's hard for me to have another team.
I hate all of Tampa. No, 100%. It's Dallas over, and this was always hard for me too, going to Kentucky, but being like raised watching Alabama with my dad. So it's like when we're not playing each other, I want them to win, especially since they're like not in our same conference and everything. But it'll be the Cowboys, but I will have to root for the people that I know to do well in the game, but they're gonna have to lose. But I hope they individually do well.
Yeah, I mean Kelly. I mean he's Texas Tech, bleeds Tech, but he roots for Texas when they're not playing Texas Tech, right, Kelly?
I root for Texas? Hell no, man. Come on. Dude. I thought you were about to tell that I root for Patrick Mahomes with the Chiefs. I was going to say, I root for Patrick Mahomes. Don't say Texas, buddy.
I would never root for Louisville going to Kentucky. I would rather die than root for Louisville. So L's down.
Yeah,
so I understand.
That's the way I feel about the Texas Longhorns. You'll never hear me say anything positive about them at all. They could win the national championship. I'm still going to say they suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would say, Kelly, are teams? I mean, obviously you said Mahomes, more of a player. Like Miami Hurricanes, if I see a guy, good for him. But are there teams that would you wear another team's jersey?
That can't happen. I got Cowboys tattoos all over my arm. I can't be wearing no other team's jersey. I can't be caught doing that. Not anything against anybody that would. Nothing touches my body. But Dallas Cowboys and Texas Tech gear. One time I made a bet with this dude, and he's a Broncos fan, and I made a bet, and I fucking lost it, and I had to put this Broncos jersey on, and I had to say that the Cowboys suck. And he still to this day has that video, and every couple years he'll post it on Facebook. And I'm just glad he don't have access. I'm glad he doesn't have a Twitter account and he can't tag me on Twitter, because that shit is embarrassing as hell, man. Wow. There's a Peyton Manning jersey. I'm standing in my living room, and I had to say that the Cowboys suck while wearing a Broncos jersey. So no, I would never wear another team's ever, and I will never make another bet where I got to do that too. No, that was terrible.
No, I actually broke up with a girl before I got married because she bought me a Tampa Bay Buccaneer hat. I just flung it, and I said, you really got to be kidding me. And, I said other things, and I just had to, it just wasn't going to work out. And so that was one. And then I was going on a podcast, and it was a Giants podcast.
Sneaky G.
And he said the stipulation was at the end, all his guests have to say something like "Go Giants,"
Let's go Giants,
let's go Giants, or something like that. And I said, yeah, that's not happening. So I politely declined. I said I can't do it. So he came on our show, but I'll never have anything where someone can require, because I told him that. He goes, I'll never said. I said, bullshit. Someone's going to cut a piece of that, and I'm doing some hype video, and I'm this big Cowboys cave, and they're going to play. Hey, he's a real Cowboys fan. Listen to what he said. There is no way in hell I would ever say anything positive about any team.
The internet is forever.
Yes.
This is true.
Not doing it. So, hey, we've been rolling for an hour. So, Spencer, is there anything else with the Cowboys. I mean, what should we be looking for? A silver lining? I know you're. Is there anything you're seeing with this team that you guys have been talking about that, hey, keep an eye on this player, keep an eye on this? How do you like the new coach? How do you like the new coaching staff? What are the other things you're thinking about this team that, on a positive note? I like to end on a positive note. I want to hear no down and stuff. What's got you at least maybe giving a little?
No, I like the new coach. I like that we've got some depth. I hopefully will have Micah Parsons re-up on his contract. And I think my silver lining is finding some people in the draft class that can, that are playmakers, that are champions, and that can bring that into the locker room. So I think that's what I'm most excited about. I just don't like to get my hopes up anymore because I don't like to be let down. But that's what I'm most excited about this draft. It's nice. Exactly. It's nice that we have 10 picks, right? And potentially we could get another one if we trade down. So I think we have the opportunity to get some really, really good talent in this draft and really, turn a corner a little bit. People coming back from injury, hopefully, and maybe they'll make a miraculous recovery. Maybe Diggs will have brand new knees. Who knows? This is my silver lining. Everyone's going to be healthy and perfect, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Well, I want to.
There you go.
I don't know if Kelly knows this. I'm going to share a quick story with you guys because I'm so positive, but I'm going to give you a negative story, and I'll be quick with it. My lifelong dream was to be a season ticket holder for the Cowboys. I live in Florida. So 5 years ago, I became a season ticket holder, and I love it. And I go to the games. I go to as many games as I can and then sell the others to fans or whatever. And it's been phenomenal. This year, after this tough year, I have to pay my seat license early before you get your ticket thing. So I paid my seat license, and then I get my tickets, and my tickets went up over $100 a ticket. Preseason, I said this on a show, preseason, 2 games, I'm paying $1,260 for 2 games, for 2 seats each game. So I email the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm a sales guy, and I just said, hey, this ticket price is a little extreme. What have you done to improve my game day experience? I didn't talk about the field. I didn't talk about the players. What have you done? Have you maybe added more bathrooms? Maybe so I don't have to wait in line so long. Did you maybe add some food things or clean up? Maybe my seat has extra padding now. Give me something to work with. And the response I got from the Cowboys a week later, because they went on vacation, is if you want to sell your tickets, here's a link that you can go ahead and sell your season tickets off to someone else. They could give 2 shits. So you know what I did? This is as they say, this is my last dance. I'm done being a season ticket holder after this year. I'll still go to the games. I'm going to go back to what I was doing and buy the games that I want to go to. But that disappointed me as a fan and as a Cowboys fan that's the respect that they give their season ticket holders, fans in general. And I'm no bigger fan than someone else just because I got tickets and they don't. I don't believe any of that. But for them to treat their fans that commit, and it's a big commitment, the seat license and all the other stuff with it, that way is absolutely, as a person who putting out the money, I couldn't look myself in the mirror saying, I'm going to write a check for this amount of money for you guys. If that's your response to the way you treat your fan is very bad. But anyway, I just shared that. So sorry. That's my negative.
No, I hate that. That's someone must have, maybe they were having a bad day.
No, because it's a canned email that went out because I've talked to other season ticket holders. It was kind of a canned email that they sent out to everyone. So
that's terrible.
Yeah. So Kelly, enjoy our seats one last time because we're going to be back to the regular seats.
Hey, look, as a seat to seat. But I told you, man, I said when we host the Cowboys Cave tailgate this year, I may just stay out at the tailgate and keep on drinking that moonshine that we had out there. I was having a good time before we had to go into the game and witness the Ravens pound our faces into the ground on the run game and watch Derrick Henry, the guy. We talked about it. We were like, you know what? We should have just stayed the hell outside and kept the party going. Because we had a lot of people out there, and it was a great time. And we had plenty of booze. We had to go inside, and I'm sitting there drinking one of my damn Cowboy Ritas and watching Derrick Henry run roughshod over our defense. Terrible fucking time outside of the tailgate.
No. As long as it's not, it can't be like the Packers. It can't be the Chiefs. It can't be Philly. like I can't sit out there because like this is like the one opportunity to watch Patrick.
But yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to
Yeah,
see
it depends how the schedule breaks out. It depends how the schedule breaks out. And I know a lot of people have been asking when that tailgate is going to be. We won't know until the schedule release. When the schedule release comes out, we'll do a show. We'll go through the games, and then we'll pick them. It'll definitely be an early game because we definitely don't want the season to end up like it did last year because the tailgate – how many people were out there tailgating towards the first of the season, towards the end of the season was like night and day. It was like a ghost town. It looked like the Walking Dead out there towards the end of the season. Nobody wanted to be out there. They're like, you know what? This season's over. What are we here to tailgate for? This team is dead. So, yeah, we definitely want to get it and capitalize while the hype is high. So, and I will say this. You said you wanted to close with some positivity. So I'm going to do that just with what I have been hearing a lot of really good things about Schottenheimer. I know a lot of people out there doubts on what he's going to be as a head coach, first-time head coach. I've been hearing a lot of really good things. And not just from people on Twitter. This is from people within the Cowboys organization that have made tweets. There's Nick Harris that had a little video about this thing where he talked about just getting everybody on the same page. Talked about how that he brought everybody, the cooks, the nutritionists, the weights, that he brought them all. Everybody that was involved in the Dallas Cowboys, top to bottom, brought them all into the meeting room and said, look, this is going to be a team effort. It's going to take everybody, top to bottom. And I like that because it's showing respect for the guys that are at the top level and all the way down to the bottom. And I really like that. I think that resonates with people. So I really like a lot of things I've been hearing about Schottenheimer. I think he's got this team kind of focused, headed in one direction, which is the first step. The next step is putting it all together on the field, getting the talent that we need to win games. So hopefully he can do it, man. I mean, I'm rooting for him. I know there's a lot of people that don't believe in him. I don't know how I really feel about Schottenheimer yet, but I'm starting to kind of feel a little bit more positive about some of the things I've been hearing. And maybe he is the change that we need to. We always talk culture. Maybe he can get that culture flipped with Dallas. And that's the first step, man, is getting yourself a winning culture and accepting nothing less than that. So, you saw it with the Patriots. You've seen it with the Kansas City Chiefs, and now unfortunately we've had to see it with the Philadelphia Eagles. So you get yourself a winning culture and good things happen. So hopefully that's what we're going to see this year. And I'll be wishing that I'm wrong, Mike. You already know I'll be wishing that I'm wrong. I've already said I will if I'm wrong, I'll run around the damn AT&T Stadium 20 times telling people how damn wrong I am. I want to be wrong more than anything. You know how I feel about the Cowboys.
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make right here. I'm gonna make it on the show. When the Cowboys go to the playoffs and we host a game, you're gonna come with me. You'll be my guest, and you're gonna have to hold a sign up that said, "I was wrong. I apologize." And you're gonna have to walk around the stadium with it. That's the way you're gonna get in. That's gonna get you a ticket into the game.
I'll wear it around my neck. I'll wear that sign around my damn neck, Mike.
A handwritten apology.
Yeah.
Yep, I will wear that thing around my damn neck happily.
It's going to be. Look, I think culture is a huge. I think in business and life and I mean everything. If you have a great culture, you build that. It makes a difference. There's a reason. Like I said, there's a reason why the Cowboys suck. Bill Parcells comes to the team, and when they go to the playoffs with Troy Hamburg and Quincy Carter as their running back and quarterback duo. So I think culture makes a difference. It's why you see those teams go from last to first, and you see so many things happen. So if they could do it, now it's got to happen. And with Dallas, it's so difficult to create a culture because you've got so much distraction. You got ownership that makes it even worse. But I would say they've been kind of quiet. So I mean, we will see what happens. But to put a bow on my ticket, so I did call the Tampa Bay Lightning. They've rolled out the red carpet for your boy Mike Tag. I could spend less money on the Lightning. So I think I might be a hockey season ticket holder. I don't know. I'm a so-so hockey fan, but I got to go somewhere.
Very fun.
It's a great sport to go to. So we'll see what happens. But hey, before we get rolling out, I'm seeing we're approaching 300 people in the cave, which we definitely appreciate on Thursday night. Especially it's late on the East Coast for me. But the way you can really show a lot of love to us and Sports and Spencer and Caitlin's show is go over, hit that subscribe if you haven't done so already, hit that like, hit the alert button on both because like you said, they drop live videos, we'll drop live videos, they do pre-recorded videos. If you love basketball, I've watched a lot of their basketball.
Spot to go.
Oh yeah,
That's
we'll be
fun.
live. We'll be live tomorrow at 3 talking basketball playoffs. If all of our NFL friends that have moved over for the last bit of the season.
Absolutely.
And I will leave you with this, and then I want you to give one more shout out to all your, all the stuff. So I don't know your age, but Jordan or
27.
LeBron? All right, Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan.
Okay.
But that's biased because I hate LeBron.
All right. You're a winner.
I don't care if it's biased or not. I'll take it.
Neither of them. Nikola Jokic.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. If she would have said LeBron, I was gonna go unsubscribe from U Sports. I was gonna take it off. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. I
will not date someone if they are a LeBron fan. Like,
hey, there you go. There you go.
A hard line. Like, there's several. Like, you cannot be a Lakers fan. You cannot be a LeBron fan. Yeah. No.
Yeah. No, not to get too deep into that, but he's one of the reasons that I kind of like stopped watching the NBA. Not the only reason. I mean, I feel like it's just hard for me to watch when it's like all these players are just constantly switching around. So like I was an huge Allen Iverson fan. So I was a fan of the Sixers, and then he went to the Denver Nuggets, and I followed him when he went there. And then it just, you all these players that are with, 5-6 different teams over the course of their career. It's just like, you can't, it's really hard to root for. And now you've got, the Dallas Mavericks, and you got, Luka, who everybody thought would be a lifetime. He gets moved. I mean, everybody's heartbroken over that. So just seeing superstars just kind of bounce around and get moved and traded all the time. I know that's kind of the landscape of the NBA, but it makes it very hard.
Jokic hasn't gone anywhere. So if you want to become a Denver Nuggets fan, we're happy to have you.
We'll keep that in mind. I do like seeing the guy. I like watching his highlights. Definitely whenever a guy can drop 60 points and have like 20 rebounds, that's pretty damn incredible to see a stat line like that and watch it where he looks like he's just doing it like the guy playing YMCA ball.
I know, it's the best.
Pretty crazy, yeah, for sure.
So are they in a contention? Are they favorites for
They're not favorites to win right now. The West is stacked. So playoffs start Saturday. We play the Clippers, who have James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, who are, nearing the end of their season and careers. But they're playing really good basketball. So it's going to be interesting. The West, we've got a long road if they want to win. We've had a lot going on. They fired their head coach last week out of nowhere, or maybe a week and a half ago. Literally 3 games left before the season ended. So a lot's going on in the NBA world. Obviously, we looked back at our preseason predictions for standings, and I had the Mavs at like 3 or 4 ending, and I was like, everyone was laughing, and I was like, sue me for not knowing they would trade, their franchise player. My bad. So yeah, it's going to be, the playoffs are going to be good. The playoffs are going to be good and exciting, especially when I'm not a baseball girl. So watching NBA and NHL right now, like same playoffs at the same time, is like great time.
Yeah.
No, I can watch anything playoffs. That's about the only time I watch basketball. And then
it's going to be Saturday. It's like all day long, and there's a lot of rivalries going on, so it's going to be good.
Nice. Well, Spencer, it's been over an hour. We've been hanging out in the cave. It just flew by, and definitely appreciate it. So glad that Kelly found you to get all of us familiar with the show.
Absolutely.
So, it's definitely going to have to do it again. But one more time to everyone, let everyone know where they can find your great show and hang out with you guys a little bit.
Oh, yes. On YouTube, we are U Sports. It's literally spelled just like this, EWW Sports. And we have a playlist for our NFL pods from earlier in the season. We'll get back to NFL once the NBA comes to a close, and then we'll usually try and do both when they're both going on. But yeah, we're doing NBA playoffs right now, so we'll be live tomorrow at 3. We've got some friends coming on, and I'm on X, Twitter, and that's with Spencer Hayes, and we always tweet when we're gonna go live and whatnot, so you guys can find us. And we love, Caitlin and I, my co-host, love talking to you guys. So any Cowboys fans, especially if you're in Dallas, I'm moving to Dallas. So if you want to be friends, follow me so we can be friends.
All right, well, just be careful.
There you go, guys.
Be careful what you wish for with this group here.
Yeah, well, I was just about to say, I was about to say thank you for everybody behaving in the chat and nobody making us look like a fool. You know, we had people behave. I will just say this though, I wasn't really worried about it because I don't know what it was that was going on. I didn't really look to it, but I saw Spencer going back and forth with some people on Twitter today. And let me just say, she can hold her own. She don't need no help. She can hold her own.
Listen,
fine.
I had 2 older brothers. Like you know what? Arguing to me is a sport. Love it.
Yep. She was dragging some dudes all over X today. So she is perfectly capable of defending herself. So, but thank you to everybody in there for hanging out and definitely tuning in and behaving yourselves and making us look like a respectable show. So I appreciate that.
We want to make sure we want guests coming back.
Yes, of course. Especially once season starts. I'm so down to come back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, we'd love to have you. And we do our live show, the draft show. If you get the itch and you're just bored and you're watching the draft, you want to pop in for 2 minutes, you'll be welcome. We'll be putting the links out there for people to pop in, and hopefully it'll be a good draft. If they draft a lineman, I don't advise you to coming on because I think Kelly and I are probably going to destroy everything in both.
I'll be crashing
rooms.
out. Yeah, I'll be crashing out.
It'll be an all time.
It won't be good, but thank you guys so much. We had a blast. It's been a great hour. Love talking Cowboys. It's a week away from the draft. The change is getting ready to happen, and we're going to be there live Thursday night in the cave. So you guys are going to come in, hang out with us. Like I said, Eugene, the Hit Machine's going to be here. Maybe Teague might be popping in. We might be calling some former Cowboys to kind of see what they're thinking about this team and where they see this team going. So it's going to be a fun night. Hopefully they draft a good player and I can drop my hype video. It's been so long. I had to quit during the season because it was too embarrassing to do one last year. So we're going to get things going, but definitely appreciate everyone for hanging out with us. Again, hit that like, hit that subscribe on the way out, hit that alert bell. And we got our fan of the month too joining us, Ron. So we are looking forward to it. Appreciate it. You guys have a great evening. Thanks again for tuning in. See you.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry. I need somebody.